Most people who play Minecraft use a mouse to look around, and I mean, me too, but I want to change that. There's one device that people on the internet have used over and over again, that is the pen. So I want to see how good I can get using this pen. To see how well I'm doing, I'm going to be using Minecraft Speedrunning Ranked, or MCSR Ranked for short. It is a speedrunning mod that puts two players into the exact same world with almost the exact same odds, and both players try to beat the dragon in the fastest time possible. Just going into it without any experience with a pen would just be a bad idea, so I'll also be using other methods to get the hang of it. To even be able to use a pen to play the game, I need one. So I went online, bought one, and now I'm a proud owner of a drawing tablet. Normally drawing tablets use absolute mode, which puts the cursor there on the screen where you put it on the tablet. So if I hold the pen in the middle, then it's in the middle of the screen, and if I put it into the top right, the cursor is in the top right. Using this in Minecraft makes it very hard to look around, so instead I have to set my drawing tablet to relative mode, which makes me look around like with a mouse. So now all I had to do was find a good sensitivity and add filters to make their experience a lot better. The next thing I had to figure out was how to set up my keybinds. I need to find a way to replace the 4 buttons I use on my mouse: left click, right click, and my first slot and my 9th slot. For my 2 hotbar keybinds I just used the number 1 and X. For my left and right click I had to set them to my pen buttons. Other people who have played with a drawing tablet in different games use tapping on the surface to left click. They do this because pressing the pen button slightly moves the pen, which messes up their aim. Minecraft combat is usually melee, which lets me click the buttons without it affecting me much. For now, everything is set up. I didn't want to instantly get started with speedrunning since I had never played with a pen before, so I started just using the pen when doing regular tasks. It didn't take long to get the hang of it in general, so I started playing Minecraft with it. I grinded on servers and also started playing PvP with it. I started with just playing sword since it only took aim and nothing else, but I soon moved to my main game mode, car PvP. Playing against randoms on Legacy, I was able to get used to using both pen buttons. I'm not going into this with no experience at all. In the past I've learned a lot of speedrunning stuff and even made my own 0 cycle method. I've also beaten the game without using WASD. With my mouse I reached a peak elo of 1004 and a 22 minutes and 29 second PB. Now it's time to do my 6 placement games. In the first game, me and my opponent spawned near a shipwreck and entered the nether around the 3-minute mark. I was a whole minute behind by the time I entered the bastion. I then died in the bastion and had to walk all the way back. While that was happening, the other guy already entered the fortress. I then entered the fort at 12 minutes and my opponent just entered the stronghold. There was no way I was going to make up that time. All I could do was hope that he died. Nope, he fucking beat the game in 14 minutes. My second and third opponent died and forfeited the game. In the 4th game, we spawned in a village. I looted the blacksmith and killed the golem for all the iron I needed. I entered the nether in a nearby lava pool. I then entered the bridge bastion, which was near to my spawn. While looting the bastion, I threw a pearl into an unloaded chunk, which I then used to teleport really close to the fortress at 11 minutes and 50 seconds. I collected all my blaze rods and then went to the overworld to calculate the stronghold coords at the 14-minute mark. It took me 3 minutes to get to the second portal coords, and then I entered the end just before the 21-minute mark. I instantly crafted all my explosives and set up the fountain for the 1 cycle. Then all I had to do was wait for the dragon to perch. I clearly hadn't practiced my 1 cycles enough because I failed horribly. That was clearly something I had to get better at. In the 5th game, my opponent died multiple times and forfeited because the bastion was unplayable, which it really just was not. After the game was over, I went into the world again to continue playing and got into the stronghold. I couldn't find the portal room, so I just gave up. In the 6th game, my opponent and I spawned near a shipwreck that we both looted. Both of us couldn't find the magma ravine and then entered the nether at around the 7-minute mark. A minute later, we both entered the bastion and I was able to leave at 12 minutes. I entered the fortress a minute later than my opponent and blinded at 15:25. 4 minutes later, I portaled into the stronghold. It took me 2.5 minutes to then find the portal room, and in the end I died and my opponent probably ran out of bed, so we drew. I then got placed in gold 2 with 1042 elo. After this, I lost one game, won 3, lost 2, and then won 1 again. But all the games that I won were because my opponent forfeited. And all the ones I lost, my opponent had a time between 15 and 20 minutes. I was not getting close to my goal of beating the game. I then started going on a loss streak. Loss after loss after loss. I kept on dying in the stupidest of ways, or often completely miscalculating the stronghold court, and then building my second portal in the completely wrong spot. The dying was just kind of a skill issue. I just had to get better and play a bit less risky, even if my opponent is way ahead of me. Miscalculating the portal though is a different problem. I use pixel perfect measurement, which means that I have a zoom hotkey that lets me perfectly measure the Eye of Ender. I thought that the issue was just with the way I was doing it, but after doing it the intended way, it still wasn't working. So I started setting up my calculator completely from scratch to find the solution. It turns out I was a dumbass and the sensitivity I had written down in the settings of the calc was the one of my mouse. And I also had to lower my pen sensitivity by a lot to be able to easily get to the right spot on the eye. After fixing this, it finally worked perfectly again. I lost all my 3 next games, but I still was seeing a bit of improvement. I only lost them by literal seconds. One of the games was also close to being a 20-minute run if my opponent hadn't killed a dragon. I started getting more hope that I could actually do this. The next time I got on to play was the last day of the MCSR ranked season before my elo got reset. So I logged in and joined the queue. What the fuck? Holy clutch, holy clutch. Let's go! Yes! I finally did it. I completed a run. If you look at the timer, you can see that it was 24 minutes. Well, technically it was a bit shorter. During the run, two things happened. First, my opponent actually beat the game, but I was on such a good pace, I wanted to finish the run. The second thing was that the doorbell rang mid-stronghold, so I had to go get the door, and because it was a ranked world, the timer kept going. So after removing these two parts from the total time, I came to a time of 21 minutes and 44 seconds. I know, this isn't a run that gets counted from MCSR ranked, but I did kill the dragon. Later on, I did get a 25-minute run, so I did beat the challenge twice. If you enjoyed the video, I'd really appreciate it if you liked and subscribed. Who knows, maybe I'll go for an even faster time in the future.